Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone. What's up, LinkedIn? How are you guys all doing? Very excited for today's live. I have a lot that I want to talk to you guys about. We're going to get right into it. But first, I would love for you guys to tell me who you are. So give me your name. Tell me where you are dialing in from, so the country and the city. Drop that information in the chat box. It's always great for me to see who I'm connecting with and what part of the world I'm reaching. So please let me know again your name, what city you're from, what country you are from in the chat box. All right. If you don't know who I am, let me first introduce myself to you. Hi, my name is Maria Malik. I am an executive speaking coach for introverted leaders. So if you are an introvert who is in a leadership position, maybe you just got that position or you've been in that position for a while and you just feel like you're different. You're different from everyone else. When you get into those meetings, when you do those presentations, you think differently, you operate differently, you process things differently, then I'm the right person to help you. And you're going to find a lot of help in today's live session, which is going to be about how to earn respect as an introverted leader. So before we continue, I know it takes a couple of minutes for LinkedIn to let everybody know that I'm live. So I'm just letting you guys kind of chime in. Again, drop your name and your information of where you're from in the chat box, okay? Also, what I'd love for you guys to do is tell me if you are an introverted leader. If you're an introverted leader, say introverted leader in the chat box. Okay, I'd love to know again who you are. I'd love for you to connect with me. I'd love for you to follow me, create lots of content specifically on this topic. I really, really want to see introverted leaders succeed. I'm an introvert. I was in the corporate world for over 10 years, and let me tell you, I struggled. So I understand the feeling, and I'm here to help make it a little bit easier for you. So let's get started and let's talk about today's topic, which again is how to earn respect as an introverted leader. Okay, let's talk about what respect actually looks like for introverted leaders to begin with. I think there's a misconception. I think a lot of people think that respect is being extra loud. Respect is being an extrovert. That's not true. Okay, your respect is not earned by being the loudest in the room. Your respect is not earned by demanding things. Okay, that's not what it is. I know to the outside world, it seems like that's what it is, but it's really not. You can be quiet, you can be confident, you can have that calm demeanor and still be able to earn that respect. And I'm going to give you guys lots of examples of how to do that. I'm going to show you guys examples of people that are doing this right now, so that you know it is very, very possible, okay? Also, what does respect look like for leaders? It's about authenticity, it's about reliability, and it's about delivering results. It's not about just speaking, being loud, having the limelight on you. That's not what it's about, okay? I want you guys to even look online right now on LinkedIn. There's so many introverted leaders, so many people that are killing it, and they're doing it in their own way. They're not doing it by, again, demanding attention, by being super outspoken. They're not doing that. Okay, so just look at LinkedIn alone. I think one example I love to use is Shanae Moray. She has a team of her own. She is an amazing speaker. She is so confident, and when she speaks, people listen, and very, very respected in this community. So that's a prime example for you. So let's start to get into it now. Okay, I have 5 points that I want to cover today. So do take these down and let me know what you think about them, because I want you guys to really kind of open your mind to these things, and they might be things that are sometimes obvious, sometimes not. So I want to start off by saying that if you want to earn respect as an introverted leader, you have to lead with authenticity. There is no way around that. Okay, you do not have to try to be somebody else. I know I get a lot of messages sometimes with people. They say, "Hey, Maria, how can I be more extroverted?" Unfortunately, I don't think it's in our hands. You're either an introvert or you're an extrovert. I wouldn't say it's something you're born with, maybe to a certain extent, but it's how you've been brought up. It's your life experiences, and you can't just switch it around, especially not overnight, and become an extrovert. So that's not really the point. So you have to be genuine, and it's going to be more effective for you than trying to mimic extroverted traits. So get that out of your head. You don't need to try to be somebody else. what you are right now is going to be more than enough for you to be a very strong leader and for you to be respected in your field. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way first. Okay, so let me give you guys an example. Someone that I truly admire who is a great leader is Bill Gates. Okay, so Bill Gates, again, leads very quietly. How many times do you see Bill Gates and you think extroverted, right? You don't. He has that calm demeanor. He's very quiet and he controls the room through his demeanor. He's very, very empathetic, and you could tell that he listens very deeply when people are speaking. And he doesn't respond just to speak. He responds to help you and to make you understand his point of view. He's a great example, okay? He's also a great example of someone that stays very true to their strengths. And his decision-making skill, by the way, I think it's amazing. Everything that I've heard, everything that I've seen about him, truly amazing. And I want you guys to look at how much he's respected, just that alone. Okay, and he doesn't do that by, again, being out there, by walking around and, having the spotlight on him all the time. No, he does the exact opposite. He's very, his demeanor, it's very different than what you would think of an actual leader, right? Sometimes you think of a leader and you're thinking like Tony Robbins, you're thinking someone very high energy. He's the exact opposite. So, but he's of course respected in his field. So he's a prime example of someone that leads with authenticity. So you as a leader, you have things that you are already very good at, okay? You don't need to be funny if you're not funny. You don't need to be extra motivating if you're not a motivational type of speaker. You don't have to do any of those things. That's the thing. So by the way, if you are someone like that, if you do feel like you have to change yourself or you don't understand why you can't gain that respect, if you're an introverted leader, by the way, I am taking on one-on-one clients right now. So if you're interested in setting up a call with me, having a strategy session to see if we can work together, if I can help you, and if you're a good fit for my program, do go onto my profile and click on work with me one-on-one. I'm going to be closing off my one-on-ones very soon. So if you've been thinking about it, now is the time. Go ahead and book a call. I'm taking calls next week, and I'm excited to talk to you and see if I can help you. Okay. So just kind of letting you guys know about that. Now, remind people, first of all, like when you are in front of people, okay, you always want to remind them also that you're not that extrovert, okay? I think, and I keep bringing up extroverts right now. By the way, I love extroverts. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. Of course, they just have a different way of operating. And that's why I focus on introverts when it comes in the corporate world, because first of all, I want to see more people, more introverted leaders out there. And the problem is right now, the higher up that you go in the corporate ladder, the less and less introverts you see, when in actuality, 50% of the population is introverted. So that tells me that introverts are not aiming for those leadership roles. And I want to see that change. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. But going back to earning that respect, okay? I also think it's very hard, first of all, for introvert leaders to gain respect. And the reason why is because we think that there's only one way to do it. And it's, again, being that person that's overly confident, being that person that's always speaking. And we just don't have that in us. We just cannot do that. We're too low in energy to be able to do that. And we have other strengths that we want to be able to use. So use those other strengths and stay authentic to yourself. If you try to be somebody else, people can smell that from a mile away. And then it's very hard for you to build trust with people if that's what you're doing. So again, main thing, number one, lead with authenticity. And I'm going to show you guys some of the things that you can do in order to still be yourself and be respected. Okay. Now, point number two that I want to discuss is command respect through clear communication. Okay. Again, you do not need to be the loudest in the room. Instead, you want to use things that you have control over. Okay. You don't have control over people. You don't have control over how they're going to see you until you change things about you. So a practical tip that I can give you for this is use a lot of deliberate pauses and clear articulation to project confidence. Okay, don't try to talk too much. When you do talk, make sure it's very clear, it's very concise, it's very to the point. You never want to be that person that's always talking in meetings, especially because people stop paying attention at some point. You want to give people substance. So, substance only comes from you listening, understanding, processing, and then speaking. So, all of that takes time. So you only want to speak, and you want to be that person that when you speak, everyone turns around and looks at them and they go quiet. That is respect. Okay. So focus on that. Focus on that instead of I always need to speak, 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 speak. No, you only want to speak when you actually have something of value to add. And I know as an introvert, you probably have so much value to add. It's just a matter of finding the right time, speaking loud and clear enough so people hear you when you do speak. Okay. One more thing you really want to focus on is your body language, because people read your body language before they hear your tone and before they actually listen to what you're saying. So if I was sitting here and I was like slouching and just, yeah, I mean, I think we should add XYZ, versus if I'm sitting up straight, I'm alert and you can see that I'm very confident just through my body language alone. And I say, yeah, I do believe that we should add in XYZ this term. Very different type and style of communication. So focus on your body language. It's going to make a huge, huge difference. And people, when they look at you, they can see if you respect yourself or not. And if you are slouching and if you're down here, they can sense a different type of energy from you. And that does not command respect. If you want to command respect, you have to show that, hey, I am here right now and my thoughts and opinions matter. That's one way to make sure that your body follows along. Okay, so make sure you're not slouching, make sure you're not like leaning back, you're sitting up straight, and you are, again, commanding that respect just through your body language alone. Okay, and of course, through your clear and concise communication. Okay, if you're finding this helpful so far, say yes in the chat box. I really want to see who you guys are, by the way, and I want to make sure that you guys are learning something today. Okay. Let's move on to point number 3. Okay, and if you're just joining us, again, we are talking about how to earn respect as an introverted leader. Let's get into point number 3. If you want to build respect, you have to do it through consistency. Okay, trust, I want you to remember that it's earned over time. And as an introvert, your strength really lies in consistent, thoughtful action. So don't expect to go in there and just build trust, boom, like that, especially when we're just not that type of super charismatic personalities, right? So you want to make sure you're doing it through your work. You want to make sure you're doing it through your actions. And a great, great example of this, of someone who's built trust slowly but steadily, is Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple. So some of the things that really stand out with his leadership style that gains him that respect that he has today is, number 1, consistency, authenticity, and listening abilities that he has. He has been so consistent, and a lot of people were, I think, very worried when he took over for Steve Jobs. And I think people were worried because they were like, will he keep this momentum going? Will he be able to sustain the growth? And if you look at statistics now, if you look at the data, he has done even more now. The growth has been consistent. And he's done this, again, through consistency. And he's also done this by being himself. He's, again, not that loud person that's always looking for that limelight, that always wants to shine in the room. He's not that person. He sits there quietly and he listens. And that's something he's known for. That's why his team members love him. And that's why they respect him. You cannot be a leader if you don't have that. You cannot be a true leader if you're not getting respected by your peers. That's why it's so important. And that's why this is something I'm talking to you guys about. Okay, so take a look at Tim Cook as a prime example. Okay, here is a tip for you also. How can you be more consistent? How can you make sure that you put this into practice and build that trust over time? Follow through on the promises that you make and make sure you're being consistent. You're consistently supporting your team. So it could be something as small as, hey, I'm going to get back to you with this information tomorrow. Is that okay? Don't just forget about it. Make sure that next day you follow up and you give that person the information you promised them. Something as small as that is going to help you gain so much more respect than you being they're presenting to thousands of people. Okay, so focus on these little things, and these are little things that we're actually good at. Okay, so follow through with your promises, big or small. Okay. Now, let's move on to point number 4, which is to foster deep connections. If you want to gain trust, okay, the way that extroverts would do it, they do it the opposite way, right? They will do those big presentations, they will do those TED Talks, they will do these amazing, grandiose type of events, and they will shine, which is great, amazing for them. Unfortunately, us introverted leaders, we cannot do that, okay? That gives us anxiety. It takes up too much of our energy. We can do it if we want to, but we try to avoid these. Okay, so instead, let's use what we already have in our palette, okay, which is being able to connect with people more one-on-one. Okay, so this is something that takes a little bit more time, but I'm a true believer in that things that are worth it and things that last take time. So you don't want to shoot up with that respect and just to have it fall down very quickly, right? You want to build slowly. So how do you foster these deep connections? Focus on that one-on-one time. Okay, one-on-one meetings are much, much more powerful than large gatherings. Okay, and if you build those connections with, let's say, even 10 people in those large gatherings, that connection alone is just going to be that much stronger for you. Okay. You also want to prioritize quality over quantity in interactions. Don't go to every meeting that you don't need to. Don't go to every networking event that you don't need to. Don't do every presentation if you don't need to. Avoid things. Be very selective with where you're exerting your energy. Okay. I think that's also like I'm reading the book right now, 48 Laws of Power, and that's one of the laws in there where if you're available all the time and you're everywhere all the time, people don't respect you as much because they think you're just there all the time, versus you show up to very selective events, selective meetings, then people respect you more because you're telling them, hey, I find this valuable and my time is valuable. So the fact that I'm here today means that I'm going to provide a lot of value here and I'm going to learn, and vice versa. I'm going to be teaching you guys stuff too. Okay. So be very, very selective. So quality over quantity, especially for us introverts, because you guys know we lose that energy like this. Okay. So save it for the times when you really, really do need it and want it. Okay. One more reminder, by the way, you guys, I am taking on one-on-one clients right now. So if you are an introvert, if you're a leader in your field, maybe you just got promoted and you want to make sure that your job is solidified and that these presentations that you now have to give as a leader, you have to get up more and more in front of people. So if you want to get better at that, if you want to get better at public speaking, giving presentations, speaking more confidently, commanding attention in a room, especially full of extroverts, then you don't want to miss out on this. Do book a strategy call with me. And you can do that by going onto my profile and clicking on work with me one-on-one. I'm taking calls next week and I will be closing off my calendar very soon. So I do want to get in as many calls as I can before I do that. I have other stuff that I'm doing the next year. So if this was something you were thinking about, take action. Now is the time, especially so that you are ready for the new year. Okay. So I'm looking forward to speaking with you, and I already see a couple of people have booked a call. So congratulations and taking that first step. Really excited to talk to you next week. Okay. So don't forget to book a call, you guys. All right. Let's move on to point number 5. And if you're just joining us, we are talking about how to earn respect, especially as an introverted leader. If you are learning, by the way, right now, and you're finding this valuable, please say yes in the chat box. Also, let me know if you're an introvert. If you're an introvert, drop introvert, connect with me. I really want to stay in touch with you guys, and I want to know who you are and where you're from. I'm trying to build a community here of introverts, and I can't believe we're almost at 250,000, which is insane. So let me know who you are, you guys. I'd love to connect with you. Okay, let's move on to point number 5. So respect. I need you to understand this. Respect, it's a two-way street. Okay. You need to show respect to others if you want to earn it back in return. You cannot be dismissive of other people. You cannot not take other people seriously. You cannot disrespect others and then expect them to respect you. That's just not how it works. Okay. here's a tip for you. Like, how do you put that into practice? You need to acknowledge team efforts and give credit where it's due. If someone has done something really good, go ahead and commend them for it. Okay. A great example of this also is, let's take LinkedIn for an example, since we're here on LinkedIn. So you have to give to get, right? Just not even just respect. I think everything in life. So when I first started on LinkedIn, no one was commenting on my posts. No one was engaging with my posts. So I was like, okay, let me start engaging with other people. So I slowly started to engage with other people. And that is a sign of respect. It's a sign of, hey, like I'm supporting you. So those same people would then start to give me engagement on my posts. That is a great example of giving and getting, right? So show other people respect and you will get it back in return. So also the other thing is, you want to treat other people the same way that you would want to be treated. So if you're treating other people like not so good, and I think introverts, there's a misconception that maybe we're cocky or we're rude, but when we're in actuality, we're just like, we have anxiety and we're just scared. We're like, I don't want to say anything because what if I say something bad and hurt people or whatnot. So I want you to get out of that bubble. You have to show other people respect. If somebody says something great during a meeting, acknowledge it and say, hey, that was a great point. Thank you so much for sharing that. Something as small as that is going to help you gain respect. This is human nature. Okay. So you have to be able to do these small little things. If you're in a meeting and you like something that someone's wearing, say, hey, that's a beautiful top. Looks great on you. Right. Something as small as that makes people like you, and people have to like you to respect you. It's very, very hard to get people to respect you when they don't like you. So these small things, these compliments, these doing those same things back in return for others, they go a long, long, long way. An example of this that I can think of right now is Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. So he completely transformed the company through empathy, collaboration, and respect. And he did that by really shifting the culture. So there was lots of surveys done for his employees, and some of the things that they said was that ever since he took over, employees feel very valued and they feel like they're heard versus before when they did not feel that way. So these are things that gained him so much respect in his company. And if your company, if the people working there, the employees don't respect you, if the people that you work with don't respect you, they're not going to respect your work, and they're just going to make your life more difficult. So it's always better to gain that respect. Again, do it slowly but consistently. Okay. So that's on respect and how it is a two-way street. Make sure you're showing respect to others so that you can also get it back in return. Okay. I want to do kind of like a quick summary of everything that we talked about today to make sure you guys really remember this information. And I want you to let me know in the chat box which of these you are now going to do. Start with one. You don't have to do all, just start with one. If you feel like you're not respected the way that you should be at work, if you feel like you're not taken as serious enough, then start with at least one of these. And I want you to let me know again in the chat box. Are you going to do number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Okay. Going back, where all 5 of these, number 1, leading with authenticity. Do not try to be somebody else. People can smell it from a mile away. They're like, who is this person? Something is off, right? We're very smart. The human brain's very smart. Be yourself. 2, communicate clearly and concisely. Do not be the loudest person. Do not be the one talking all the time. Speak when it's not just necessary, but speak when you actually have some value to add. Okay. So is that what you're going to start doing? Let me know in the chat box. 3, building trust through consistency. Gaining respect, it takes a little bit of time. If you want true respect, if you want to have the type of respect that is lost very easily, yes, you can get that very quickly, do one great presentation, say a few things, but that trust is not lasting, right? You want to build trust through consistency because that is much more everlasting, and it's going to get you much, much further ahead as an introverted leader. 4, foster deep connections. We're already very good at that. Let's work on the things we're already good at. Let's amplify them. Let's do more of those. So as an introverted leader, you're already good at making connections one-on-one with people. So focus on that. Instead of focusing on 100 people at a time, focus on 10. Okay. Lastly, respect. Remember that it is mutual and that it's a two-way street. So that's the 5th thing that I want you guys to remember and start to do. Okay. You need to give respect in order to get it. So these are the 5 things that we discussed today. Again, I want to know in the chat box, which of these 5 are you going to start doing? Leading with authenticity, or are you going to communicate more clearly, or are you going to start building trust through consistency, or are you going to foster deeper connections, one-on-one connections, or number 5, are you going to give respect to other people so that you can get it back in return? Okay. I hope you guys found this helpful. I am going to read all of the messages from the chat box. So please, if you have any thoughts, any opinions, drop it in the chat. Questions, I'd love to see what you guys are thinking of and what you're taking away from today. Okay. Again, reminder, one last time, I am taking on new clients and I've opened up my calendar for next week. So if you are an introvert, if you're an introverted leader in the corporate world, you're struggling a little bit, you feel like you can't speak so confidently, you're having a hard time shining, and you feel like you're kind of invisible, or you're not able to get your point across and you're not able to gain that respect that you know you deserve, then do book a call with me. Let's have a strategy session. Let's sit down and talk in detail and talk about how or if I can help you get there. So book that call with me. You just go onto my profile. So click on my name and click on the link that says work with me one-on-one. Okay. I'm very excited to talk to you. I love working with introverted leaders. I've worked with over 200 introverted leaders at this point, and it's something I absolutely love doing. So let me help you. But of course, you have to start by booking that first call. Okay. I want to thank you guys all so much for being here today. I know it's a Saturday, and I'm trying to do this on Saturdays because I know most of you guys work. So hopefully you were able to attend this and you learned a lot. And do tell me again, which of these 5 things are you taking away and you're going to start doing? So thank you so much, you guys, for being here. Again, my name is Maria Malik, executive speaking coach for introverted leaders. Have a fantastic weekend. And if you've booked a call with me, I'm super excited to talk to you, and I'll see you soon. Okay, take care, everyone. Bye.